I just can't deal with the lying. I have nothing against dumb people at all. My dogs are dumb, and I love my dog. I don't suck up ever to anyone.
Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson in a 3-hour-long interview, over 15 million views and counting. It really made me wonder, how is it possible to make people listen and capture attention for so long? What is their secret?
It's so crazy.
Yeah, even my friends, they were telling me how to edit my show. They're like, you should edit that. No one's going to listen to 3 hours.
And yet, people do listen for 3 hours. And it's not just the content. It's not their famous names or voices, but it's these subtle yet powerful charismatic habits that we can learn from. This first clip shows Joe and Tucker completely disagreeing about one point in the conversation. Have a look first.
So it's all so blurry, though.
I don't think it's
the
that
transmedium video.
Yeah, I don't think some of it's that blurry. I think some of it's crystal clear.
So Joe is saying, well, it's all blurry, and Tucker is actually disagreeing because he's saying, well, no, some of it is crystal clear. We'll watch it again and we'll see what Joe replies to this. But these two people are master communicators. And yes, they disagree on certain things and they have different views on certain topics. But they stay calm. Nobody's offended. Nobody feels offended. The conversation keeps flowing. And that is pure confidence and charisma.
So it's all so blurry, though.
I don't think it's
the
that
transmedium video.
Yeah, I don't think some of it's that blurry. I think some of it's crystal clear.
We just don't have access to it? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Just we haven't seen it?
Correct.
So they have some stuff.
For sure.
I mean, think about it. If you are in a conversation, mostly it happened to me when I was at work, and you disagree on something or you have a different view, do you always disagree? For me, I was afraid to disagree because I thought, what if I offend, or what if they judge me, or what if I'm wrong? And I was just afraid. And so I just rather shut up. It gets better because the second clip is a brilliant example of something I've never dared admitting to. And if you're new here, I'm Rachel. And if you're returning, welcome back. Hit the like and the subscribe and spot Tucker's reaction in this next clip.
Kayleigh McEnany. Is that how you say her name?
I don't really know who that is.
She was the last White House press secretary.
I know, and
you don't know who that is?
She's
the GOAT.
I sort of do.
She's the GOAT. She's the best.
I had stopped paying close attention by that. It's just...
I kind of can't believe you don't know who that is.
No.
This is so brilliant to admit he doesn't know that specific person. Just to be clear, I'm not discussing the content they're talking about, the names they're mentioning, but purely their reaction. That are such great examples of confidence and charisma. And here, it's not about knowing or not knowing this Kayleigh person. It's okay to not know everything or everyone. And even if this sounds super logical, for so many years, I faked knowing. Like politics and history, two topics I completely am not interested in, and I don't know much at all about it. But when people were addressing a political figure or a topic or a historical thing, I just kept nodding and I kept it really vague and I faked that I knew. Yeah. No, I didn't know, but I didn't want to sound stupid. I thought it would be smarter to go along with the conversation, but it's not. Confidence is saying like, well, I don't know. Or I'm not interested in it. And now I do that. I'm like, don't go there. I don't know about it.
I don't know.
That's why I love Tucker's reaction here, and I picked this particular clip because he just reacts so calmly and confidently, and it's okay. We can't be perfect. We can't know it all, no matter how famous or skilled you are. And that's also why I like that Joe continues giving this great example about Chris Rock that is also continuously learning. Have a look.
Like Chris Rock would do this thing where he would hire comics and they didn't write the jokes for him, but they would be like guys he would bounce stuff off. So he would have his ideas, he would go on stage, and then after his set, they would all meet and they would talk about the set. And, guys would have taglines like, you could say this. Oh, great. And they write that down. They're adding. So it's a collaboration. So you have the master, you have Chris Rock, who is so open-minded and intelligent and humble that he brings in other masters and says, tell me what I'm doing wrong. Tell me what I could change. Tell me what I can make better.
Good for
him.
him.
They work together.
Joe then continues to talk about David Tell and about Kaizen.
Like David Tell's the guy that comics go to see when he's in town.
Yes.
Like he's a master. You watch him, he's Yoda. You're like, Jesus Christ. Like, how is he so good? Well, he's so good because he writes every day. Because he's sitting with fucking a pack of cigarettes and a cup of coffee every morning, writing things in a notebook. And he's practicing every day. He goes on stage constantly. And it's that Japanese term Kaizen, where you take this one thing and you just refine it to its ultimate mastery. And that's what he's doing.
Nobody is born a master. Another highlight I picked up is not being afraid to share opinions against the common sense.
Yeah, even my friends, they were telling me how to edit my show. They're like, you should edit that. No one's going to listen to 3 hours. I'm like, then don't listen. I don't care.
Here Joe is sharing how his friends told him, like, you have to edit and cut the video because nobody will listen for 3 hours. And I loved his reaction. You don't like it? Well, then don't listen. Sometimes it's good to follow your own path and not follow the crowd. For so many years, I worked a 9-to-5, climbing the corporate ladder, following other people's expectations. It's the way you should be going in life. But I burned out completely. That was the end of my 9-to-5, and I'm way happier since then. Now listen to Tucker's top-notch speaking skills here.
This is, I'm not being suck-uppy because I don't suck up ever to anyone, but the effect that podcasts have had is just incredible, and I never would have predicted that in a million freaking years.
I would have never thought it.
He suddenly slowed down the pace. And that slowing down is such a powerful communication technique. It captures attention. You draw people in and people listen more. Here's another beautiful charismatic skill.
But the number of people say, I was listening to this podcast, I was listening to Rogan and da-da-da-da-da. It's like really noticeable.
Yeah, that's why.
Tucker is complimenting Joe. And he does it in such a smooth way. Complimenting is such an easy, simple way to create connection with someone. And when it's done genuinely and thoughtfully, just like Tucker is doing here, it doesn't always have to be like, oh, I love your watch, or you have beautiful eyes, or you have beautiful hair. I find that Joe's reaction could be a bit more accepting it and acknowledging it. And I feel it's even more powerful if you really maybe say, yeah, thank you for that, or I appreciate that. Then you really take in the compliment and you appreciate the other person even more. Tucker continues, and a little bit further in the conversation, he continues the compliment.
And I have to say, your willingness to platform or to have a conversation with Alex Jones, I think was a revolutionary act, actually. Not that everything Alex Jones says is right. It's not. Not everything I say is right or anyone says is right. But Alex Jones is an interesting person, and even if he's not interesting, he has been walled off from the rest of us through name calling. And your willingness to be like, no, actually, we're just going to listen to Alex Jones and you can decide for yourself.
They're talking about Alex Jones, who was a guest in Joe's show, but the compliment is really about Joe, how he is willing to interview certain people, hard or not, just like he interviewed Donald Trump. Another great example of these communication skills is the way Tucker is telling a story. Just watch it first and try to notice.
And the first thing you notice is how impressed all the correspondents are to work there. I work at the White House. I work at the White House, got my hard pass. And then the distance between that little credential they were so proud of and the reality of their lives was like insane. Like they're in this tiny little room. They're being treated with total contempt by the White House staff, who thinks they're just fucking animals. You know, it's like, shut up. They're eating out of vending machines. And this was a different time, right? Mm-hmm. So like when I was working as a journalist in Washington, like we went out to lunch every day at like a good restaurant and charge it to the company. And like with your sources, we're like, we had lunch every single day like civilized people. I don't even think that exists in the world anymore, where you had time for lunch.
People don't remember what you say. People remember how you make them feel. The way Tucker shares, it's passionate. He has this melody in his voice. It goes up and down. He slows down. He speeds up. He uses hands and facial expressions. It's the greatest way to capture attention. Even if you're just listening and not watching, you hear that passion. You cannot but continue to listen. Tucker also has humor when he tells a story and when he's sharing things, and it's not always easy to do, but here are some examples.
I have nothing against dumb people at all. My dogs are dumb, and I love my dogs. No, I'm serious. I don't think God cares about your intelligence, right? Only people care.
Another great highlight. Truth or lies? Tucker made such a great point on this fact.
Well, I guess what bothers me is that the lies aren't sophisticated.
No.
I mean, I look back over my now sort of long life, and I'm recognizing all the times that I was lied to, but, I didn't know I was being lied to. They kind of pulled it off. Mm-hmm. There's something incredibly insulting and demeaning to tell me a lie when I know it's a lie, and I know it's a lie. We both know it's a lie, but you're demanding that I pretend to believe it?
Right.
What you're really saying is, I have no respect for you. You're like my dog.
Right.
You're a slave. Like, I'm demanding that you participate in my lie.
Right.
The lack of stealth.
Do tell me below in the comments, what are your favorite highlights? What did you pick up from these magnificent two gentlemen? One thing I didn't mention is the way they use their tone of voice. But the master, the iconic voice of all, is probably Morgan Freeman, which is why I made a video about that and how he explains how to really use that voice that captures attention and makes anyone listen and respect you even more. Have a look at this video. I'll see you there.